Introduction to Sound Recording History. Imagine a world where music and voices vanished the moment they were made, never to be heard again. Before the marvels of modern technology, sound existed only in the fleeting moment of its creation. But human curiosity had other plans. An unrelenting desire to capture the intangible and make it permanent. This ambition set the stage for one of the most fascinating journeys in technological history: the birth of sound recording. In the late 19th century, visionaries began experimenting with ways to preserve sound, transforming an abstract idea into something real. The very thought of bottling up music, conversations, and moments to relive them later was nothing short of revolutionary. And it wasn't just about entertainment. Capturing sound meant capturing history, memory, and emotion. Early experiments were crude, but groundbreaking, each discovery laying the foundation for what was to come. The delicate balance of art and science collided as inventors sought methods to not only record sound, but also bring it back to life. These first steps, raw and imperfect, marked the beginning of a journey that would shape the way we interact with the world forever. What followed was a story of bold experimentation and relentless determination, where every breakthrough brought humanity closer to the idea of preserving sound as we know it today. Edison and the phonograph. In 1877, the world got its first taste of what would become the modern music industry, thanks to an invention that seemed straight out of science fiction: the phonograph. Created by Thomas Edison, this groundbreaking device wasn't just a gadget. It was a portal to a new dimension of human expression. The phonograph could record sound and play it back, a concept so astonishing at the time that people called it Edison's talking machine. Imagine the shock and wonder of hearing your own voice preserved, captured in wax like a ghost given form. Edison's phonograph used cylindrical tubes coated in soft wax to store sound waves as grooves. A stylus traced the vibrations and etched them into the surface, transforming fleeting sounds into tangible physical imprints. This wasn't just a leap forward in technology, it was a leap in imagination, proving that sound could be frozen in time and replayed at will. But the phonograph didn't just capture voices, it captured moments, emotions, and stories, making it an instant sensation. Families gathered around it to marvel at its ability to preserve and reproduce sound, and suddenly, music, speeches, and personal messages became artifacts to be shared and cherished. With every turn of the cylinder, the phonograph whispered a promise. That sound could outlive the moment it was made, echoing across time. Other pioneers in sound recording. While Thomas Edison's phonograph is often celebrated as the dawn of sound recording, he wasn't the only innovator dreaming of preserving sound. In fact, years before Edison's breakthrough, a French inventor named Édouard-Léon Scott de Martinville was already experimenting with sound waves in a completely different way. His invention, the phonograph, was designed to visually capture sound by etching waveforms onto paper coated with soot. Though it couldn't play back what it recorded, the phonograph gave humanity its first glimpse of what sound looked like, a bold step toward understanding sound as a physical phenomenon. And Scott de Martinville wasn't alone in his pioneering efforts. Across the Atlantic, inventors were racing to refine and improve the mechanisms of sound reproduction. Alexander Graham Bell, best known for the telephone, also left his mark on the history of recording. Alongside his collaborators, he created the gramophone, which introduced a more durable wax cylinder to replace Edison's original tinfoil design. This innovation not only improved sound quality, but also paved the way for the phonograph's eventual commercial success. These early creators weren't just inventors, they were visionaries who dared to dream of a future where sound could transcend the fleeting moment. Their contributions remind us that progress is rarely a solo act. Instead, it's the result of countless voices, each amplifying the other in the pursuit of a shared dream. Evolution to gramophone records. By the turn of the 20th century, the world was ready for something new, something more practical and enduring than the fragile wax cylinders of earlier recording devices. Enter Emile Berliner, a visionary inventor who revolutionized sound recording with the introduction of the flat disc record and the gramophone. Unlike wax cylinders, which were difficult to mass-produce, Berliner's discs were more durable, easier to manufacture, and could be stacked for efficient storage. Suddenly, recorded sound wasn't just a marvel, it was something people could truly own. The flat disc brought music into homes in ways that wax cylinders never could. Gramophone records quickly became the standard, sparking a cultural shift that made music a communal experience. Families gathered around to listen to orchestras, opera singers, and the latest popular hits, all without leaving their living rooms. For the first time, sound traveled beyond the moment, becoming a shared treasure for communities and future generations alike. But the gramophone didn't just change how people listened to music, it transformed the very nature of the music industry. Artists began to think beyond live performances, realizing that recordings could preserve their work forever and reach audiences they might never meet. The era of the gramophone ushered in a golden age of sound where music evolved from a fleeting experience into something tangible, collectible, and timeless. The spinning discs brought the world closer together, one revolution at a time. Advancements in recording technology. As the 20th century progressed, the tools of sound recording underwent dramatic transformations, each new invention bringing music and audio closer to perfection. The 1930s marked a turning point with the arrival of magnetic tape. Unlike the scratchy grooves of records, magnetic tape captured sound with unparalleled clarity, allowing for editing and layering that had never been possible before. Suddenly, artists could experiment in ways that defied the limits of live performances, giving rise to a whole new level of creativity in music production. By the mid-20th century, vinyl records entered the scene, offering a crisp and warm sound that became synonymous with a golden age of music. With their durability and improved audio quality, vinyl became a cultural icon, spinning its way into countless living rooms and music collections. Soon after, the invention of cassette tapes in the 1960s put music into people's pockets for the first time. These compact tapes weren't just portable, they were personal. With a mix of convenience and nostalgia, mixtapes became an emotional language, passed between friends, lovers, and family. The 1980s brought another leap. CDs. Compact discs combined crystal-clear sound with digital durability, making them nearly indestructible compared to their analog predecessors. Each of these advances reshaped how music was created, consumed, and cherished, changing not just the sound, but the experience of listening itself. The digital era of music. With the dawn of the digital era, music entered a new frontier, one where sound was no longer bound by physical formats. The late 1990s saw the rise of the MP3, a format that compressed audio files without sacrificing much quality. Suddenly, entire music collections could fit into a pocket-sized device, and songs could be shared with a click. Napster, an early peer-to-peer platform, shook the industry, making music more accessible, but also sparking debates about copyright and artist rights. Then came streaming, the innovation that redefined how we consume music. Platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and Pandora made the idea of owning songs feel almost outdated. Instead of purchasing individual tracks or albums, listeners could now access millions of songs instantly, all for the cost of a subscription. Personalized playlists, algorithmic recommendations, and on-demand playback created a highly tailored experience, revolutionizing our relationship with music. This digital shift also empowered independent artists. With tools like SoundCloud and Bandcamp, musicians could release tracks directly to fans, bypassing traditional gatekeepers. The digital era not only transformed how we listen, but also who gets heard, leveling the playing field and amplifying voices that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. Reflecting on the journey from the scratchy etchings of wax cylinders to the seamless streams of digital playlists, the evolution of sound recording is nothing short of extraordinary. What began as fragile, experimental technologies has grown into an ever-present soundtrack to our lives. Along the way, each innovation didn't just improve sound quality, it reshaped the way we connect with music, history, and each other. Think of the artists immortalized on gramophone records, the mixed tapes that carried heartfelt messages, or the convenience of hearing your favorite song on demand today. These milestones represent more than technological progress. They reflect the creativity, curiosity, and determination of countless inventors and visionaries who saw the potential in capturing sound. As we revel in the luxury of modern music access, it's worth pausing to appreciate the journey that brought us here. It's a story of constant reinvention, where each leap forward was powered by a shared desire to preserve, share, and experience sound in new ways. Whether through a spinning record or a streamable playlist, sound recording connects generations, blending nostalgia with innovation and reminding us that the magic of music is timeless.